notch area, an area where there could be a lowering of the cloud base or perhaps a weak tornado. It is tornado warned. I will tell you, even if it's not a tornado, and we aren't entirely sure it is, this is an area that's going to have a lot of wind. These bowed out little segments right here, a lot of that wind that we've seen it up as high as 70 miles per hour, up at about 3,000 feet. Sometimes that translates down to the ground. Austin, do you have anything new over there?
Yeah, I was watching another notch that's just off towards the north there. So two areas of concern. One would be just to the north of State Highway 60, southwest of Beaver Ford, or Fork Lake. They're just around Interstate 40. And then the other one that's moving across just to the northeast of Bigelow and Cantrell Field Airport. Both of these moving in the general direction off towards the northeast and east-northeast. So north side of Conway, southwest side of Conway, getting your tornado safe spot. These are quickly moving off towards the east, so you don't have time to go outside and look at these. Just already getting your tornado shelters, tornado safe spots. This is two little notches that we're tracking here along this line. This was anticipated this afternoon, and these will be quick, but again, watching for damaging wind potential along this line as well. Go ahead, Barry, if you got something.
I see. Let's take a look back here, if we can, on Max 2. And there we go. And there is a little bit, perhaps, of a lowering of the cloud base off in the distance there. It certainly doesn't look like anything like a tornado, but this might be that little notch that we see. And there is just a tiny bit of lowering on the underside of that thunderstorm. I'm looking off from to the north-northwest from Chenal Mountain right now, and we're going to kind of watch that area. But first of all, I do want to keep an eye just on the radar because we can see it a lot more clearly with the radar than we can with anything else. And we'll go in and show you kind of the whole line. First of all, there's the tornado warning in the Conway area. And again, if you're in the Conway area, out at Toadsuck, out around the airport on the southwest side of town, go ahead and get into that safe spot. Lowest floor of your dwelling place, most interior spot. But there are other areas all along this where there are little bowed out segments, and I think there's going to be some wind damage, not everywhere along this front, but in some select areas. All right, we're going to go back in on this, and I'm going to go back just a few minutes. I'm just going to show it as it moves on into this area. And still, there is that little bit of a notch. Let's go to our other source here if we can. And I'll show you the notch as it approaches the Conway area. I think I can show it a lot more effectively right there. And there's Conway, just out on the west side of town, and you can see the notch right here. So as it moves off to the northeast, this is the tornado warned area. If there was something that was trying to come down to the ground, that's where it would be. So just get in your safe space, Conway. Get in, away from exterior walls and windows. There's plenty of wind along with it, too. It's not going to be here very long. You're not going to be inconvenienced very long. Just get into that interior part, and it will go racing off to the east. And then we'll watch other little notches along there. I'm going to look and see if the National Weather Service has talked about anything. I think they're saying that there is just a little bit of a burst of some instability out in advance of all of this. So this may have a little richer field to deal with, to encounter, and thus for a little while our severe weather risk may be elevated just a little bit, and then it will go pressing off into eastern Arkansas. Other strong wind producers out of Van Buren County, Cleveland County, up into Stone County, and on down in Garland County right now, too. Don't want to forget about this, although our concentration is the tornado warning, but there's another area there, and I'm going to look at the wind field inside of that. Yeah, I don't see anything as far as a rotation is concerned. Austin, a lot of these are right along the front.
Yes.
And that doesn't really lend itself to a big tornado threat, but those little notches, like coming into Conway right now, that's what we're kind of looking for probably for the next little while.
Yeah, we've been keeping an eye on this line of storms along that cold front, and we've been watching it kind of undercut some of these storms, which kind of neutralizes any tornado threat, but not enough here in areas of Faulkner County. Here's I circled the two areas of rotation that we're keeping an eye on, just to the southwest of Beaver Fork Lake, the other one to the southwest of Conway. Again, not tight enough to really give you a great indication that there's damaging tornado on the ground right now, but doesn't mean that these can't quickly spin up as they move towards Beaver Fork Lake, and we'll say Conway here in the next 5 minutes or less. So if you're living along Interstate 40, just to the north of Mayflower, around Conway and around Beaver Fork Lake, get in your tornado safe spot, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. 5:15 is until this tornado warning does go, and these storms, like we mentioned, are going to be quickly moving as we go throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening hours today. So once they get through your location, you're going to feel a sudden drop in temperatures and really gusty winds. That will completely take out the severe threat for your location for the remainder of the evening, and then we'll focus more again on areas of East Arkansas in the coming hours. We do have a tornado watch for all of Central Arkansas, East Arkansas as well until 9 p.m. Another one for Southeast Arkansas until 11 p.m. But we're hoping that these storms will be quickly out of here, maybe a little bit sooner than that. So a broader look at this, we'll show you that line of storms stretching from North Arkansas all the way down towards Southwest Arkansas. Something else we'll have to watch too is out ahead of the line, these little storms that are trying to fire up near Grant County, Dallas County, and Jefferson County. These will have a better severe threat, maybe if they can kind of take root and mature a little bit more as they slide further off towards the east. But anything along the cold front, so stretching from Texarkana, Hot Springs, Saline County, up towards around Van Buren County, these storms are more posing the damaging wind threat with the brief spin-up tornado potential like we're seeing right now in Faulkner County. So we'll give you one more look at this little notch that we've been tracking, 2 notches, just to the southwest of Conway. So this one notch is moving right over southwestern Conway, Madison Road, Edgestone Circle, these locations there around State Highway 286. So southern portions of Conway, getting your tornado safe spot, and really the eastern side as well. This will be moving right over Interstate 40 here, less than about 2 to 3 minutes. So Barry, anything in the National Weather Service that's, well, actually if you can go to our tower cam there, I can see that lower.
I did want to show that on Max 2 really quickly, if you can see. And we're looking right up toward Conway, and I just see a rain shield there. This is just off to the right, off to the east of, that's kind of the leading edge, and that would be Conway off in the distance there. Nothing that stood out to me as far as anything other than just a big rain shield. It would be rain wrapped anyway if there was some small tornado that tried to form. But you're under a tornado warning, Conway, so go ahead and get in that safe spot. We're going to continue to watch this storm as it moves on off to the northeast. I still think it's a wind producer, so that's something that we just have to really keep a watch on. I'm going to go into the radar here, and we'll zoom back in. And also coming into the Little Rock area right now, you can see kind of a strong line of storms that'll be moving into the Maumelle area. The more bowed out area is coming into Conway, and that's where winds are kind of intersecting stronger winds aloft, and that translates down to the ground. So you watch for these bowed out areas, these backward seas, and then along that you watch for just little notches along it. And so I'm going to just keep going back to that wind profile there. Not quite as strong as it was. The notch is a little harder to see if there is one at all. And that's good news, but that doesn't mean get out of your safe spot. And again, this is already, it's just screaming on through Conway. And I know there are a lot of winds that are there. Probably sounds really bad outside, and we haven't had any reports of damage yet, but that usually comes a little later. But this is a strong wind producer here, and we're going to watch for anything that could be a tornado, a brief spinning up of a tornado. It wouldn't be a long-lived, large tornado, but it doesn't take that to cause quite a bit of damage. And so we're going to continue to watch the Conway storm. I'll back out, and I'll show you where it is headed next. It looks like it's headed it'll be from the area just out to the west of Valonia on Highway 64, on up to Holland, and probably just south of Greenbrier, the worst of this as it heads over toward Mount Vernon in just a little while. For the Little Rock area, it looks like there's a kind of a trailing edge down toward Hot Springs Village there, not really a strong storm. And then through Hot Springs, we're getting that storm that's coming into your area as well. This would be a wind producer down past Lake Hamilton, on down Highway 7 down to Bismarck, another strong storm there. For now, though, we continue with that tornado warning. The National Weather Service is going to, well, I'm not sure what they're going to do. There has been a rotation seen. That was the notch that we talked about. We're just looking at what they're looking at here. No reports of a tornado so far. I think that's the good news out of all this, Austin.
Yeah, Barry, I've been watching velocity here in the last couple of minutes, and I put it in play for you as well. You can see those two little notches that were in areas of eastern Perry County to western Faulkner County. They've really kind of just gone away. I mean, it doesn't mean that they can't quickly spin something up here, but just not seeing really any tight notches like where there's still one a little bit near Beaver Fork Lake. In very broad, maybe rotation just south of Conway as this moves directly over Interstate 40 right now in southern portions of Conway, but just not enough indication there to really see a tornado threat at the moment. But it's quickly moving off towards the east. Still very broad rotation now east of Conway. So anybody living in central portions of Faulkner County, just east of Conway, get in your tornado safe spot just in case. These lines like this are notorious for quick spin up tornadoes, even when there aren't tornado warnings. So this is one of those storm lines, line of storms that you need to just kind of stay well away from windows if you get under a severe thunderstorm warning with this. Still tracking it move quickly off towards the east-northeast, and this actually might stay move just to the west-northwest of Valonia, but again, no big indications that this is a tornado-producing storm at the moment, but it's close enough where they're continuing to extend this tornado warning till 5:15. More tornado warnings up towards areas of Missouri. You can see just the scale of this line of storms. This was anticipated this afternoon to see these storms quickly fire up and intensify rapidly as they move into central and eastern portions of Arkansas. We're again going to have to watch these storms in Grant County and Jefferson County, just south of Sheridan, west of Pine Bluff, towards Redfield for maybe some severe potential down the road, but just not right now. It's everything that's along the cold front, all the way from Hope to Arkadelphia, Malvern, Saline County. Still some stronger storms here, but nothing severe at the moment. So really the main focus is this tornado warned storm in Faulkner County, just south of Greenbrier. If your tornado sirens are going off in Greenbrier, you are safe from this tornado warned storm. It's just off towards your south. It's really just Conway. We'll say Holland as well, and around just to the northwest of Valonia. So we'll be watching this area real closely on velocity to see the winds in the storm, to see if this storm is still capable of producing a tornado. But still no indications. Barry, you haven't seen anything from the National Weather Service saying that there's...
No. And in fact, I think they're looking at that and saying, you know, we aren't seeing any obvious sign of rotation. Over the next couple of hours, and just a few minutes ago, the National Weather Service was talking about this, and I think we talked about it a little earlier, out to the south and to the east of the Little Rock area, some of those storms that are trying to develop out there. I think there's going to be a window of time, and it may be the next hour and a half to 2 hours. I think the instability and the spin in the lower levels of the atmosphere may be such that if we can get storms developing out in advance, and there are a couple, like down south of Sheridan right now, we may have to watch those. And that is just something we're going to keep an eye on. They're not big enough to do anything right now, in addition to watching the line itself. The line is going to be more of a wind producer, and there is that one tornado warning along it. But let's just keep that in kind of in the back of our mind, that in eastern Arkansas, it's not going to last long. We're going to have to watch those areas. Looking at the new sounding, looking at what's up above right now, the National Weather Service saying that the atmosphere is not looking all that threatening, but it may for a brief time kind of move up. So I think straight line winds are going to be our biggest deal. Let's talk about the tornado warned storm right now. Boy, the leading edge of that is well out to the east of Conway now. That just shows you how very, very fast moving this is. I mean, along Dave Ward Drive, it seems like just a few minutes ago it was out to the west of Conway. Dave Ward Drive just approaching there, and Prince Street, and now it's well out to the east of town and moving toward the Holland area. There are little indentations there, nothing though that we've seen from any people who are up there, storm spotters up there, to indicate anything more than maybe just a broad rotation, but mainly just a wind feature, I think, coming through there. But don't discount that. It could push over trees, get away from exterior walls and windows, because trees could be pushed over. And there's going to be big winds back behind this front as strong and cold northwest winds start to move in. The tornado warning, I think, will be continued for a while longer. They're just going to keep a look out on that. I haven't seen anything to the contrary. And so we're going to watch this storm. One up to the north near Fairfield Bay. It's already kind of out to the east of there. Be moving over to the northwestern part of Greers Ferry Lake. and up into Turkey Creek, south of Mountain View in Stone County.
Barry, I wanted to point out something too that's of note, which is a good note. With that line of storms moving in central Arkansas right now, sometimes we can get a little sign on the radar that the cold front is just out ahead of these storms. And looking around Maumelle, you can see just a little bit of maybe sound or noise there just south of or just to the east of the front, meaning that the front is ahead of this line, which really cuts out the tornado potential, which is good news. But this line of storms still can likely produce damaging winds, so don't discredit it. If you're under severe thunderstorm warning, just stay well away from windows. Just hunker down. We've talked about how fast this line of storms is moving, and it's still got that backward C shape just in between Conway and Valonia. So really damaging winds becoming and growing as the main concern with this line of storms, and really the most portion of this line of storms that's stretching from around Heber Springs all the way down towards Arkadelphia, eventually moving into Little Rock here in the next couple of minutes. The good news is, if I zoom in a little bit on Little Rock, it's just kind of a measly line moving through Saline County, western Pulaski County. So really not a severe threat as of right now, moving into Maumelle, or at least just to the southwest of Maumelle here in west central or west Little Rock here in the next 15 minutes or so. But we'll continue to watch and see if it matures a little bit better. Those storms there, Barry, just east of Sheridan, Pine Bluff, still kind of, there's a little bit of maybe low-level rotation trying to maybe get going. At least some early signs that these are definitely surface-based down there moving to Jefferson County, so moving over Highway 50 or 530 there. So we'll have to keep an eye on those storms like we've mentioned. These are the biggest concerned storms that we have in the next couple hours.
And they're not bad now.
No.
The one thing, the reason why I think there's a narrow window of opportunity, they're not that far out in front of the line, and the front itself is moving very quickly. And once it catches up to those storms, it could, what we've talked about, could undercut those. But it's out to the southeast of Redfield, south of Redfield, east of Sheridan, to the south of Sheridan, and another one down here. They don't look like much right now, and they're not much right now, but they are what we call discrete cells. They're out in advance of the front itself, and sometimes they can have kind of the whole atmosphere around them to themselves, and they don't have to compete. And if there is a tornado potential, and we're not saying that this is a high tornado potential today. Strong winds, yes. Tornado, I don't think so. But I think for another hour and a half or so over in eastern Arkansas, we're going to watch these storms as well as the line coming through. Let's go back, if we can, to our other source here, and I will show you. Again, our newscast should be on right now, and if this tornado warning does, in fact, go away, we may be going to our newscast. We're going to have plenty of forecast, and Allison will have all of where these storms are headed and when they'll be gone from the state type of information. So we're not going to abandon the storms at all, but we may start our newscast at some point here or join it in progress. I just want to make you aware of that. We are not going to go back here as long as we think there's a real potential for strong damaging winds or a tornado, and there still is that tornado warning. So just a kind of a programming note there for you. As we head into Faulkner County, this line of storms, if we look at the wind field along it, yeah, it doesn't look all that impressive. There may be just a little notch there south of Holland, but nothing impressive. And I think it's pretty close to the front there. I think the potential for it to produce certainly any size of a tornado is not that great, but it's not impossible. And we're still in that tornado warned area right there. There is just a little bit of rotation there. I can see it going away from the radar site. It's not very noticeable, but if you're south of Holland, you should already be in your tornado safe place. If you aren't, just go ahead and do it for a little while. It's not going to be there very long. And as I say, you're not going to be inconvenienced very long because it's going to be past you. Once that front comes past and the wind switches around, your tornado, your severe weather threat just ends right then. So we're going to watch this storm and the others along it for just a little while longer.
Yeah, Barry, I was wanting to give you the whole scale, the whole scope of what we're seeing for this line of storms moving into central Arkansas. About every storm is now severe warned along that cold front, and even just to show you what kind of system we're talking about potent-wise, there could be even some snow flurries up in northwest Arkansas in the next hour or so. So very cold air settling in behind this cold front. That's when we're saying once it moves through this line, your severe threat is completely over for the remainder of this evening. Looking at they've already cut back some tornado watch areas in northwest and west Arkansas. So Garland County to Perry County, those are the last areas right now under that tornado watch until 9 o'clock. But the line of storms is already moving through your location, so we'll likely see Garland County and this western portion of the tornado watch likely taken out of this watch here in the next probably 30 minutes or so. That line of storms, so you can see, lit up with severe thunderstorm warnings, the one tornado warning there in still Faulkner. 5:15, so we're still going to be on air for the next 7 minutes or so, unless they decide to extend this warning. And we've been watching it more on velocity here in the last couple minutes. Anything of note?
It looks like one tree or maybe just some tree limbs down. We're seeing a picture just down to the south of Conway on Highway 365 that went down onto some power lines. Austin, you might look at power outages there in Faulkner County. It looks like a very isolated instance, and it doesn't look any more violent than just some tree limbs maybe have been snapped over. I think that's going to be something that you're going to see, and maybe a few trees pushed over as kind of this cold pool of air forms everything into a line. I think really we're going to see winds start to pick up in that eastern half of the state as we head into the evening hours. Don't underestimate just what straight line thunderstorm winds can do along this line, and we're going to continue to watch that throughout the evening as well. Still tornado warned though in Faulkner County, and the wind field along it, well, maybe just to the southwest, a little bit of a notch right there. So we're going to watch that. You're not technically in the tornado warning, Valonia.
Northwest of Holland, too, it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Right up to the north of there, headed toward Enola and Mount Vernon. Nothing pronounced, but just those things where briefly, even if it's just for a few seconds, a small tornado came down. You don't want to be in the path of it, and you don't want to be in the exterior part of your house. You want to be in the lowest part of your house, most interior part. And even if it's just wind, you want to be away from exterior walls and windows in case tree limbs or trees are pushed down. We're going to continue to watch that area, and we'll see if the National Weather Service then extends that tornado warning on up a little ways, just because of kind of the ragged nature of that line. Yeah, southwest of Valonia. Valonia, go ahead. You're not technically in it. Go ahead and get in your safe spot right now, and Holland, and it's quickly moving past you over to El Paso as well. But there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for that, and so we know that this is going to be a strong storm.
Barry, there's 9,000 customers out, power outage-wise, in the state. Most of them's in Izard County, so North Arkansas with that line that's moving up there.
What about Faulkner County?
Hasn't relayed yet. Probably a delay for maybe 15 more minutes or less.
Right, yeah.
But Perry County's up to 100, and then Yale County's up to 200. So
so just sporadic spots. That's not unusual. That's kind of expected, I would say.
Yeah, so that's some good news. But we'll see what comes out. You saw that one report of some tree limbs down and stuff. So there's been some gusty winds with this, even with the tornado warning. And I will say, taking a note, is that the area of, let's say, concern for at least rotation is now on the eastern side of this tornado warning polygon. So areas around Mount Vernon and between El Paso and State Highway 5, I believe. Go ahead and just keep a close eye on this. We'll see. We got, what, 4 more minutes with this tornado warning. We'll see if they extend this or not, but just not really seeing any big evidence that they're going to likely continue this tornado warning here in the next couple of minutes or so. And here's a closer look at the Little Rock Metro. Heavy line moving just into the western Pulaski County, Maumelle, northwest Little Rock. We'll start seeing this heavy line of storms moving here and maybe producing some strong winds at times, so keep that in mind. Just hunker down for 10, 15 minutes as this line moves through, and then once it's through, you're done for the rest of the evening. So, Barry, you still keep an eye on those. They're really growing.
The storm's out to the southeast of Little Rock, south of Little Rock. Yeah, I think that's, folks, I think that's really, our attention is obviously going to be on the squall line. And if you just, let me show you the overview of the entire line here. This is where the severe thunderstorm warnings are right now. Let's go back to our other source if we can. And it's just a long line from north central to that cluster to the north. It looks like the tornado warning has been dropped. Then just to the southwest of Little Rock and all the way down just along into this east of I-30. But we're going to watch these storms, and I see really 2, eastern Grant County and northwestern Jefferson County right now. that I think we're going to have to watch very carefully. They are not even warned right now, but they just take on that look that they're growing some in an unstable atmosphere environment. And so we're going to watch those as we head on through. But I do want to go back to the storm that was tornado warned, and I think that has been allowed to expire, correct?
Yes. So
yeah,
it's now expired.
Yeah, and
or in 2 minutes.
They're watching it closely, but just convergence right now.
Two more minutes until they let that warning run off.
Okay, all right. So for 2 more minutes, we're going to just kind of keep you updated on the storm. We will tell you that Ibibi, Searcy, Romance, Cabot, places like that, watch this storm as it moves on in, but it is severe thunderstorm warned. And we are going to be talking about it on our newscast, which we'll go to, and all we're going to be doing is watching these storms. So we're not going away from the coverage at all, but we will, as these storms move through, keep a close watch on them, and we will have the newscast going as well. And then we'll be here through the evening and obviously watching those storms out to the east of town as well. Anything else along that line of note to you, Austin?
No, just more of just the damaging wind concern moving into Garland County, or east, or I guess western portions of Grant County, and then eastern portions of Hot Spring County. So there's a new severe thunderstorm warning there. When we get off this and show you the latest map that we're tracking for this, tornado warning now until 6 p.m., or excuse me, sorry, severe thunderstorm warning until 6 p.m. Around Malvern, Traskwood, those locations, plan for 60-mile-per-hour winds potential as that moves into those locations. Down towards Clark County, Dallas County, new severe thunderstorm warning there till 60-mile-per-hour winds are possible, and all the way down towards southwest Arkansas as well. So.
Let's take, if we can take Max 2 looking from downtown here, the other, our other source here. And I'm going to show you this bowed out shelf cloud moving into the Little Rock area. That is a wind signature if it's nothing else. That is quite an impressive storm. I'll see if I can back out just a little bit more and show you, but what an impressive storm as it moves on through, and just a sign that there's a lot of wind back behind that system as it comes on through. Again, though, the storms that are out in advance of us are out in advance of the line off to the east of us. For you folks down in southeast Arkansas, central and southeast Arkansas, we're going to have to watch those. We do have numerous thunderstorm warnings all up and down this line. There are a couple of tornado warnings up into Missouri. No tornado warnings along our stretch of kind of broken line of storms now, and that's some good news. Down to the southeast, Hot Springs, and headed over into the northern part of Hot Spring County near Malvern. That is a strong storm. And then kind of a break, and then moving into the Little Rock area, but really north of Little Rock, northern Pulaski County, and up toward Valonia. That's the other bowed out feature. That one was earlier tornado warned. But for now, I think the Weather Service is not going to do anything like that or have another tornado warning with it. And then on up to the north, Concord, Batesville, yeah, a couple of other segments there with some bowed out features. Those are the ones that we'll watch very carefully. But this is going to be a quick moving system. It's not going to last all night, folks. It's not going to just drag on and on and on because of the forward speed of it. And here we are at 5:16 in the afternoon. And it looked like earlier this thing was really slowing down. Now it's really speeding up. It'll be through the Little Rock area before 6 o'clock. It'll be well over into northeast Arkansas by 7 o'clock even. And it'll be lingering in southeast Arkansas for maybe just a little while longer. But a really impressive looking storm, and hopefully you will not be in one of those areas that is bowing out like we see there and have potential for wind. We will watch these 3 storms, and I'm going to show you right there. It's east of Carthage. It is just to the southeast of Sheridan. And this storm in the northern part of Jefferson County, probably the strongest one. They're not severe thunderstorm warned right now. And so we're going to continue to watch this as we head on into the evening hours. For now, we're going to go to news, or is news of the day, and sports news, obviously, of the day as well, as we continue to watch the weather. But we'll lead off with the weather as well. So let's go to our 5 o'clock newscast now.
All right, thanks so much, Barry. Well, good Good evening to all of you, and thank you for joining us. We're keeping a close eye on the weather tonight. We've seen some tornado warnings already, and a tornado watch is still in effect. Let's go back over to Austin Burks for a look at the timing and what we can expect. Austin.
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. Here's the full scope. We're tracking this cold front that's quickly sweeping across the state, across areas of northeast Arkansas, central